Welcome back to Gemstone Podcast. This is Lance, KALP. I got Shy and Zack with me today. Before we get started, make sure you go like, share, and subscribe to our podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Amazon Podcasts, Pandora Podcasts, and also Spotify Anchor. And now, YouTube. Now, if you want to send us fan mail, you can contact us at our email, which is gemstonepodcast@gmail.com. That is gemstonepodcast@gmail.com. Mental health check. How we doing, guys?
I am doing pretty good today. This week was trying on me a little bit. I'm just, dealing with some haters, sipping a haterade. But other than that, I'm doing well. How y'all doing?
I've been busy with school, so that's a lot of stress load on me. But other than that, it's been a good couple of weeks right now, man. I can't complain.
Your boy hanging on by a thread. I ain't gonna lie to you. Hanging on by a thread. I'm talking about, I remember on Pinocchio, when they had the little string, he was just hanging. That's me. I'm Pinocchio. And the powers that be is holding me. And I'm just hanging there. That's me. Hanging on by a thread.
This chapter is called You and God. It's you and God.
Speaking of mental health, recently, Gucci Mane and his wife was on the Breakfast Club. And they be doing other interviews as well on other social media platforms, going on like somewhat like a tour.
Okay. He released a book about mental health.
He did. I saw that. I don't know how
people saying it's really good.
I'm gonna have to read it. But one thing I want to discuss is, mental health in the Black community is something that we don't discuss as Black individuals. We try our best to shy away from it. I mean, we try to, this prayer party, give it to God, seek God, the Spirit gonna lead you. We really do our best to not address it fully. And being a professional who's been in healthcare and worked in a lot of behavioral health departments and governed a lot of behavioral health departments and also behavioral health programs over a decade, I would say that the Black community, this gave me joy to see Gucci Mane being Roderick Davis, being the rapper who for our generation, it was Jeezy, Gucci. We grew up listening to that Jeezy, Gucci, T.I., that trap music for sure. So to hear him come out and say, I struggled with schizophrenia and I would have episodes and I would have psychotic breaks and I do this and I just start beefing with people. And I think at one part of the interview, when he was talking, he was like, man, I be trying to fight you and say, no, you trying to fight me. And you be looking like, man, I ain't done you nothing. He said, but it's the voices telling me that you're trying to fight me. So I'm trying to fight you. And when we think about Gucci Mane, like we think like, that's a bad actor. You know what I'm saying? Think Jeezy, that's a bad actor. We think T.I., that's a bad actor. I like how he discussed his journey in mental health. I like how he talked about a lot of his situations and occurrences that were associated with his mental illness, because it just shows that in the Black community that, okay, we glorify some of this behavior and we want to be hard and be gangster, but he's saying, hey man, I was really struggling. I needed help. I just like how he had that accountability piece and how he said, like, I take medication, I have a therapist. Like he talked about all the interventions that he's currently using now. And even when he talked about, the verses, he was like, and he said, like, I was up there, playing diss records to Jeezy, but he didn't play none. And that made me, realize that, man, like he on some grown man stuff type. And like people was clowning Jeezy. Like, oh, he soft, he ain't no gangster. You let your homeboy talking about smoking Pookie Loke and But I thought Jeezy, he handled that like a class act, me personally.
Jeezy a grown man. That man out here doing symphonies. That's a grown man right there.
He handled that with a lot of growth. But I just found that to be like, I don't know, man. And my discussion with you guys today, like to talk about this topic, why I bring it up is because, why does it take so long for us as a Black community to address our mental health issues? I mean, even for me personally, it took me a while. I got a little problem. Once it's up, it's up. But that's not normal. That's not a normal response to things. I think with the therapy I've went through in life, that I've debunked a lot of different trauma and I've learned different coping skills and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So now I use those and apply those to the best of my ability. But it took me till I was like damn near 32 to even start that process? Why didn't I should have started this earlier, and some of the things that happened in my life that I partook in probably wouldn't have took place if I would have started that process earlier. So my question to you guys as, co-host is why do we as a Black community, why does it take us so long to even try to address our mental health issues?
Well, because for one, we're not taught to. Black men are taught to be strong, to take care of the house, take care of the family, go to work, and stop crying. Anytime you see a Black young man, whether he's 5 years old or 10 years old, if he's crying, the first thing people tell him to do is, boy, stop all that crying. You crying like a little girl. No, let him cry. Let him cry. When you do that, a broken little boy becomes a broken man. That trauma carries and carries and carries and carries and carries until it explodes, and whether it explodes on himself or on his family. There's been an influx of Black men committing suicide. We've seen more Black men commit suicide in the last 5 years to a decade than any other time in the world. Like it's a serious thing. Also, I wanted to add that all of this stems from slavery, because and toxic masculinity as well, because Black man being broken down during slavery, having to watch his wife or his daughters being victimized by the masters, having to work, having to do what another man says, not being a man of his own. That's a common thing in slave movies when they say, I'm a freed man, I'm gonna be a man of my own. That's a common thing. So that started it. And then, after slavery, Black men still working in construction jobs, doing things like that, working for the white man, quote unquote, and then having to deal with that daily and coming home to their family and taking it out on their family. Then you go into Black men being liberated. They started to get higher paying jobs. They started to become educated, things like that. Then you have systematic racism. So it's been a lot on Black men. So me, myself, I've been giving Black men grace. No, you ain't gonna play with me. But I've been giving Black men grace because a lot of Black men suffer in silence. I personally have dated someone that I truly believe is bipolar or schizophrenic. So I've dealt with that. I've watched a person sit down, a different person, get up and go to the restroom and come out the restroom a different person in 5 minutes. I've watched somebody's personality switch and in a walk to the door, they come out the door, they somebody else. They walk back to the door, it's flip-flops back and forth. And that's mental health. And even though someone I was recently getting to know, I started to see characteristics in him that I'm familiar with. And so those things right there were saying, okay, Shani, you starting to see like some similar characteristics, and he may also be dealing with some kind of mental health issue. So, instead of don't berate these Black men or making it harder on them. Yes, you want to hold them accountable. Yes, you want to you want them to be accountable for their actions, but pray for them if they're willing to. Give them some kind of tools to help them. I recently went to a panel discussion with Dr. Bryant and Dr. Iyanla Van Zant. Baby, when I tell you, and they had some more people, and they had another doctor on there. I forgot his name, but it was a panel of people. It was probably about 8 people, and baby, they were cooking, especially when it came to mental health in the Black community. Maybe they were cooking. Dr. Bryant broke down so many traits and signs that you can see early on, mental health issues. Dr. Iyanla Van Zant, it was so good. So I took away from that, and I'm giving Black men grace. Like, I'm showing up with a smile, and I'm praying for them. That's what I'm doing, because Black men deal with a lot. And back to Gucci though. So Gucci, we watch him transform. That's why they call him a clone and stuff. He ain't a clone. He's just transforming. Now you can tell that he is on some kind of medication now. I think she did say that, if I'm not mistaken, but you can tell that he's probably been on medication. He's probably been, him being schizophrenic, I think that's how you say it. Him dealing with that and having his good support system that he has from his wife, I feel like that's the best thing that happened to him. Him going to jail, him having to get off of drugs and having to face, that's why he got that album cover. I think it's a Mr. Davis album. Him having to face he had a dark night of the soul. He having to face who he is and deciding to be better. Deciding, because it's a decision. It's a decision that you have to make when you're ready to. So him deciding, I'm proud of Gucci Mane.
him deciding to be better. And I could tell, like when he got out of jail, he released that album. I forgot the album name, but it's my favorite Gucci album, and it got one of my favorite songs on there, which was it's Everybody Looking. Everybody Looking is my album. That's my Gucci Man album. It got that song on there with another person that need help with their mental, Kanye West. That's my album. That's my favorite Gucci album. So you can just tell that his growth, like he's grown. The man is 45 at the end of the day. Even though age don't matter with mental health, the man has made a conscious decision to say, you know what, I was miserable in my 20s, because that's what it is. If you're constantly having to use drugs and alcohol and you're always into stuff, that's a miserable life to live. That is not a peaceful life to live. So him deciding to, I don't want to spend the next 20 years of my life miserable and having mental health issues. That's a big deal. So I'm very proud of him. And I hope that, he don't have to become the face of this illness, but I hope a lot of Black men see him and are willing to be like, you know what, he could do it, I could do it too. Because at the end of the day, we need community. Black women, Black men, we need community. You need people around you that see your work. You need people around you that genuinely care about you. You need people around you that genuinely love you. You need people around you that genuinely want to see you do well and want to see you be better. So kudos to him and his wife. And y'all can say what y'all want to say about Keisha Kayor, but baby, that's a good woman. If she want to go have surgeries done, that's her business. But that's a good woman. Because I remember when Gucci Man first got out, and I was a huge Keisha Kayor fan back in the day. I used to buy her lipsticks. I bought her flat tummy tea before. I was a fan of hers years ago when he first got out of jail, like 10 years ago. I remember I used to faithfully watch her cook on Snapchat. This woman literally poured into a man. That's the power of a good woman. She poured into him. This woman would be at home in their house. She would cook. She was cooking for him, making him teas, calming things. Like she really helped. She nurtured his growth. So kudos to her as well, because she's part of the reason why he got on this health journey and he, got his body healthy, because she was on a health journey. If you ain't never had Keisha Kayor flat tummy tea, people look, say what y'all, that tummy tea is the truth. It works. So, she a Jamaican woman too. So I mean, she uses a lot of natural ingredients, and she really helped him, even with herself, because even in her own self, like it's a difference. So kudos to them, and yeah.
Well, I would agree. I think that he came a long way, and also that his wife was a great support system for him. But one thing Keisha said in that interview, which I thought was interesting, she said, "I knew he needed help. I knew he was having I knew he would have a problem. I would take his phone. I would delete apps. She would just intervene is the word I would probably say." And I just found that to be it was refreshing to hear, because instead of throwing him to the wolves, like, man, this is crazy. Like, she was like, no, I'm his wife. He needs to throw him in the truck. We're gonna get a hold on him, get him. Like, she took that time to ensure that, he was taken care of. And also she poured in, like you said, she poured into him, Shy. But while she was pouring, he was also having a revelation. Like, oh man, I need help. I'm gone. I got a son now. I got kids. I don't want to not be here for them. And I think for me, just transparency, like I said, it took me till I was 32. I think when you have kids, and because believe it or not, you see a lot of yourself in your kids. And I have multiple children, so I see a lot of different versions of me or areas of me in my kids. And you just don't want that journey for them. So you try to do something for yourself. So then if you do see those behaviors, being displayed or happen, now you have some effective practices that you can teach your children. I really think that was probably a driving force for Gucci too, because he has kids. And I think he mentioned that too in the interview. But just being a father who, like I said, you see a lot of yourself in your kids. And when it comes to aggression or thoughts or voices or anything like that, when that starts to show in your children, you just feel for them, because you don't want that for your kids. Remember what I was saying last time, Sha? I think last time it was just me. You don't think Zack was here for that segment. Matter of fact, it's the one that just dropped this past week. We was like, man, we try to, educate our kids to not make these mistakes. We try to educate our kids to, get in the game, so to speak. But, life is a teacher, you know what I'm saying? And life gives you hard lessons. And so I think with this, recognizing mental health as something that's prevalent in the Black community, I think that's also something that we as mothers and fathers can employ to our children, because I know, like I said, it took me till I was 32 to get help. When I see my kid, like my daughter yesterday, I ain't gonna tell her business, but I talked to her yesterday. Boy, she had an episode. Oh Lord. And I sat there calm and I talked to her. And I was like, okay, let's do this. Okay. Let's write about it. Let's get a journal. You like to write, don't you? She's like, yeah, I like to write. I said, okay, me too. Get a journal. Let's write about it. Okay, what you feeling right now? And she just writing. I'm on the phone with her, and she just started writing. She quiet. We on the phone over 45 minutes to an hour, and now she writing. I'm gonna say, did you write it? Yeah. I'm still going though, Daddy. And she going. She just writing. Now that's a coping skill. Reflective based writing. So now she's reflecting on her feelings, and now she has an outlet to then pour those emotions on paper instead of pouring those emotions on people. But if I didn't get help, I wouldn't know that. So I think that was one of the driving forces with Gucci for sure.
I think we're all correct in some of the words we're saying right now. I mean, mental health is something that's devastating in every community, every culture. As Black men, as Black women, I think we realize it. I believe we've realized mental health issues for the longest in our culture. We just always neglected them. I feel like our newer generation, our millennials, our Gen Zs, and all these kids now are really starting to realize that I don't want to live like that, though. I don't want to live with this feeling of something's always wrong. So we're pushing ourselves to go get these helps and get these helpings and teachings of how we can be better. And we're wanting this, like y'all are saying also, the want to be better is a huge beneficial to being better, and I feel sorry for our elders that didn't get the opportunity to, have the opportunity to want to get better or have opportunity to, because you would feel like you'd be crazy or something like that. Because if you had schizophrenia back in the day, they stuck you in the mental health hospital, right? So
put your ass in the back of the house.
Come on, man.
Come on, that's Uncle Jeb. He crazy. Leave him alone.
Yeah. Hey, that's real. You have an uncle in the back that got a TV that don't play right. It got lines through it. Yeah.
Or they'd be like, oh, he possessed or something like that. You hear voices.
Yep.
So, I feel sorry for ancestors that didn't get the opportunity to be blessed with the technology and the things we do today. But I'm proud of people that's doing it, It took me a little while to get over my issues because I know I had some problems there for the moment, but I had to become more relaxed and calm-headed instead of being so, as Lance said, when it's up is up, we gonna do it. But, now I'm more relaxed. I can take my time about how to do things. And I think it takes a lot of self-reflecting on yourself to see how you need to do things and how things are going to work out for you. And then having some support system like Gucci did, because his wife held him down. That's how you should always want your wife and your partners to be, somebody that's always looking out for you and you looking out for them, because that was a hell of a ride or die.
You know what, Zach? A couple of weeks ago, I was telling my wife a story. You were part of the story when we were at WTC, and how I put a sheet over my body and put a headband on it and cut out the eyes because I wanted to fight security, but I didn't want to be caught on camera. She laughing, she on the ground. Show me how you did it. And I like I'm giving her visuals like, okay, this is a sheet, but it's going down my whole, like it's a bed sheet going down my whole body. I cut out eyes right here and I put a headband on. And I climbed out the window. So, they couldn't see me come out and I'm giving her like play by play. And as I begin to like tell the story, I'd stop and say, dang, I had issues. Like I really planned and thought out how I was going to get my revenge on somebody for giving us numerous on-campus citations. And that doesn't, some people, that just means you're smart. No, I had a problem, because for me to take it to that level where you doing extraneous things, that's called explosive intermediate disorder, which it means you're highly aggressive when you're in that mode, and ain't nothing going to calm you down but yourself once you feel fulfilled in the actions in which you partake in. That's a real DSM-5 mental diagnosis, intermediate explosive disorder. And so I'm telling the story and I'm recognizing the diagnosis as it was given to me when I turned 32. And I'm like, dang, that's real. Plotted out the details. And Zack probably all that dying laughing because he did. I'm plotting out the details. And then, we get a round table, circle back, head of security showing the video. I'm like, you can't, I don't know who that is. Who was that? It's just somebody random walk in into the hallway. Like I'm plotting this man's schedule. I know what time he gonna be on the hall. I'm plotting. And the only reason why I'm regurgitating that story is just to show how when you go to therapy, you sit with a psychiatrist and they conduct their assessment and you begin to tell these stories and to tell these occurrences that took place in your life, then you can reflect on and see, well, damn, that was a diagnosis. I needed some help. I could have handled that a lot better. Oh Lord. Like Zack said, when it's up, it's up. It shouldn't always be that. We should have a place where we can, okay, I'm upset. Let me think about it. Let me pause. Let me go to myself. Like I was saying I did with baby girl. I don't want to laugh because her mama might play this and let her listen to this. But she was, when I tell you she her daddy child, she was giving me the play-by-play of why she was upset. And then, then she told me something about jail. And if you go to jail, and I said, well, you can bail me out right now. And I'm like, damn, she's her daddy child. Like, you on point. But once we talked about reflective writing, she calmed herself down. And also the conversation was different. Well, I could have handled that different though, Daddy. This, now that I think about it, blah, 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 blah. But it takes that, like I said, it takes that village. And that's what I think I think what Keisha showed us was a village. Because with Gucci Mane recognizing that, but I think Keisha, his wife, was the critical piece in all of that. Because she rallied the troops around him to ensure that he got help. So it did take a village for him to get help. Yeah, he accepted it, but he wouldn't get no real help until his wife intervened and had others to assist her with the intervention process. So I think that's one thing that we have to do as a community is take the village approach because it's real. It's real. It's some dark times and some dark days.
Always got to take the village approach though. Sometimes it's just self-reflection.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you looking at yourself and realizing what you're doing is powerful. Like you told baby girl to write it down, you realizing like, damn, I was about to murder you. You don't even know it. You don't even know it. I went through some things, nigga. Hold on, wait a minute. Self-reflection is key. We need that to feel something different, and I feel like it does take a village. Ain't nobody that's been successful been successful by themselves. They don't have some help somewhere along the way to get to where they had to get to. Either they don't had help or they stabbed somebody in the back. Something happened. So you need that village to get you where you're trying to get to in your life to be better or whatever. But you need self-reflection in yourself to see that what you really did. Because if you don't see you did anything wrong, you ain't never gonna change that shit.
Yeah. Shy. You know what? I think a lot of times in relationships, and I'm not trying to change the subject, but this goes in part of what we're talking about, or what we're discussing. I think a lot of times in relationships, because I'm just thinking about what you said in your introduction to the topic, and you were saying like you've dated people that come in, 5 minutes be another person, come out 5 minutes another person. I think in relationships, when people present those behaviors, we be like, man, crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like we need help, crazy. But I think a lot of times we dismiss it because we love the individual and we just want to love them through their flaws or love them through their imperfections. And I keep going back to Keisha because she loved her husband. She loves her husband. But even though she loved him through the flaws and the imperfections, she loved him enough to get him help. And I think that's the key thing that kind of stands out when I actually look at this. I know Gucci wrote a book about it, right? And I keep saying his wife was the crucial piece to this puzzle. The Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and shall find favor in the Lord forever. Keisha is his favor. And God was on his side because for a person not to leave him, not to pack their things and just say, I'm not dealing with this no more. Mind you, he was in prison. He gave her money. She flipped it. But we know the story about their relationship. But for her to have that presence that she had lets me know that she's tapped in with the divine because it's just different, man. Because a lot of times in relationships, we just, this is crazy. I need help. I need some medication. And she probably was saying that, but she did something about it. That's the difference.
It's also the maturity too.
Yeah,
because
she did something about it.
It's also the maturity level too, because I know for a fact, me 4 or 5 years ago, if I saw date somebody that's crazy, I'd be like, girl, he crazy. It's like a thing like, oh girl, this. But now the mature grown woman in me, I'm like, you're a nice person, but you have some issues, that you have some problems, and I feel like you should work on that, and I call it out now, like the old me would have just been like, but now you can put a name on the face of it as you grow, as you mature, as you learn about different things, you can kind of be like, you know what, yeah, like this is deeper than just an attitude. So I feel like with that her too, because she's grown a lot too. Like she went from a video vixen to a multi-millionaire business owner. Like she's grown a whole lot over the last decade, as she should though, as she should.
Yeah, I just want to throw that out there. Because like you said, like the person you were years ago is not the person you are now. But a person who has mental health issues, sometimes they stay stuck years behind. They don't have growth. Growth don't really take place. Growth may take place in their career, may take place in their finances, but psychologically, from a mental health well-being standpoint, they're stuck. Wherever the psychotic break took place or wherever the trauma took place that induced that
That's a fact.
mental health issue, they're stuck at that particular time in life. So the response in which they have, it always goes back to wherever they were at that particular time in life.
And that's why I give promiscuous women grace, because a lot of women that are promiscuous, even in men as well, a lot of men that are promiscuous had some kind of sexual trauma in their adolescent ages that triggered this response that, that makes them, they feel the most loved and the most empowered when they're engaging in sexual activity. That's why I give people grace. If I have friends or acquaintances that are, she just be giving it out, I'm gonna say no. She has some inner work that needs to be done. She has some things that when happened to her as a kid that is still triggering in adult life.
Zach, like one issue like I have still to this day is I'm very avoidant. I avoid things. Like I don't wanna address them. A part of me doesn't want to address it because I don't want to be triggered to, respond a certain way. So I avoid things. I just sweep it under the rug. I get back to it when I have time type mentality. And when we and I'm getting on myself a little bit here now. And when we have those avoidant behaviors, we really don't find solutions to the problem. And so one thing that Gucci did say during the interview, because Charlemagne asked him a question. I think the question was like, like how did you know? What was the like? How did you know when you was gonna have an episode? Or how did you? He was like, man, I just start, avoiding things, or I just want to be alone, or I just wanted to, like that's a sign that you're about to, you about to crank up. That's I like to say crank up. Like that's my word, and I tell my patients that too while I work. I say, all right, look, I say, see, you about to crank yourself up. You ain't gotta do all that when they about to go into a manic state. So I say crank up. That was his avoidance, was his trigger to cranking up. So anytime a conflict presented or something may happen or he may start hitting lean to get on them pills, he start getting avoided and cranking up.
And he also is paranoid because, we probably know people in our personal lives that think everybody against him. That's a sign
Yeah,
of being paranoid.
yeah, yeah. But I think that's also associated with trauma too. Being paranoid, feeling like you're not enough, feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like, the work you present. I have that problem to this day. And I'll be completely transparent. I can restructure a whole division, write the document, create it, read through it 10 times, make sure the punctuations are correctly, I'm using the correct jargon, run it through Grammarly 5 times to make sure I didn't miss nothing. Okay, did I miss it? Did I miss a comma somewhere? And I would send it out and be like, man, I don't know if that's good. And I always ask my staff, like I implemented 2 new best practices for the behavioral health team for continuity of care a couple of weeks ago. And after the meeting, I was like, do y'all think this is good? They was like, no, this is great. I'm like, no. Tell me the truth. Like, do you really think it's good? And he was like, yeah, Dr. Parker, like this, we need this. This is really great. And look, I notes, and I was like, no, you can be honest with me. They're giving me great feedback, right? But I'm like, no, you can be honest with me. Tell me if it wasn't good. And that's like, I'm paranoid. Like, is my work good enough? But that's associated with trauma, not feeling like you're good enough.
I hate you said it like that because I feel that way when I cook. That's probably the main reason why I'm not that super big in chef stuff right now, because I'm always asking the question, is it good? Are you sure? Hey man, you ain't gotta lie to me, twin. Give me the truth, bro.
Man, y'all better know y'all him and don't forget it.
No, but that's real though. And I like that we having these transparent conversations because it just shows that we human, but also it also shows that growth is something that you gotta be intentional about every day. I was really excited about the Gucci Man book and his conversations and his addressal of, getting his mental health stable and having some sustainable interventions put in place to best service him and his family. Like that's real, man. And it was refreshing to hear a Black couple say that. That's what really did it for me. We had a Black couple that was on these platforms on the Breakfast Club, and they on there talking about how, as a couple, they tackle mental health. And the wife is up there saying, hey, he was doing this, he was doing that. I was like, nah, player, we ain't doing that. We doing this, we doing that. I told them people, I don't care, I'm the wife. Put a hold on, do a 5150 on them. Like, it was music to my ears. Not because, like, I feel like she just was, like, taking over the situation, just because she came in and, like, really helped that man out. Like, look at, man, like, Gucci Man, it came a long way. Like, this man was pushing people out of Hummers. Y'all remember he pushed people out of Hummers? He was pushing people out of driving moving Hummers. He had court cases. They tell me he coming to interviews with a gun in the bag. He on there talking about people wanting to give him fellatio. What you mean? You know you wanted me back then? Like, he was, Gucci that came a long way, dog.
Yeah.
He didn't come.
And his lips not even crusty no more. His lips ain't crusty. He look healthy. He don't look crazy no more. He went from blind to fine. And he went, you know what I'm saying? He went from looking like you will run when he come down the hallway to being like, whoa, hey.
Hey, that dark chocolate looking.
Looks better. It don't even matter about the weight. He looks better. Like, he don't look as scary and intimidating.
No, like, for real. Like, he still got the ice cream tattoo on his face, right? Y'all remember he got the ice cream tattoo on his face?
I thought he took that off.
I thought he still had it from what it looked like. Did he take it off?
He got them removed.
Yeah, he got that removed.
He did.
I believe.
Him and Birdman both got their head tattoos removed. You know, Birdman married to Tony Braxton. Y'all see, he didn't calm all the way down too.
Yeah, Tony ain't playing that. Sit down now, boy.
Another thing you have to take into account too, because we're talking about the mental health. They're not in the streets no more.
No, that's big.
So not being in the streets no more like that takes away a lot of mental health things. The paranoia is because you're not always coming for it. You got to be on the look. You can't get caught lacking. That's where this paranoia come from. The schizophrenia is because they had to go into a different mindset when he was in them streets. He had to change himself to somebody
that's
that
the
he
power
wasn't.
of a good woman.
Oh no, you keeping it a book though. That's 100%. No, for real.
Like everything he had to do, it's the same thing for football players. A football player off the field is a great person, soft, kind. You talk to that football player on the field, that's a different person. That done switch to a schizophrenia, a different person. He is trying to hurt you now. It's the same. He just tapped into a different person because he was in the streets, somebody that he wasn't really is.
Yeah. He recognized his triggers. So and I'm pretty sure he had them conversations with his wife, and they removed those barriers and removed those triggers, so he wouldn't have so many frequent episodes. Now you're right though, Zach, because when you out there like that in the wilderness, and we man, when you out there, hey, you only got a couple people you really trust like that, for real. Y'all don't talk every day like that. Y'all not around each other like that. You're around all these other people. You looking, upside everybody's head. You don't really trust everybody. You having conversation, but you taking it with a grain of salt because you're trying to dissect it and trying to really understand what they're trying to say. You trying to, you talking, but what you really talking about. And that puts you in a mode all the time, which is not healthy at all.
And that's all it is. It's coming out of that jungle into the light. And it is key to having a key person in your life that can bring that light out of you and take that hard out you and bring that soft side into you. Men soft too with the right woman.
But see, this is why I be saying I ain't trying to start no fuss. But this is why I be saying I want more HBCUs involved with the Black community. Gucci Man could be a case study, and that can be some type of preventative education that can be disseminated to Black communities across the country with the assistance of HBCUs. This is why I be going so hard. Like, man, they like misappropriation of funds and Black Health Science Centers and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's why I be going hard, because when you got something like this is a case study. Gucci Man is a legit case study. It needs to be some type of research done on all the processes of what took place to get him to where he's at. Now, that book is cool, but it needs to be a research study where they conduct some type of data analysis and then give a reflective transcript of what took place. Because every Black community needs this. We on here talking about triggers, we talking about avoidant behavior, paranoia, and then we just circle it all back to the environment in which we all come from, which is the Black community. Like, this is why I be going hard. And I ain't, like I said, I ain't trying to start no fuss. Y'all be getting, you sound like a white man. You sound like a white nationalist. That's why I be going hard, because I see the vision that could happen. That could happen if we just kind of get it together a little bit. That's what, and other people that's not our ethnicity, they see it too. That's why they do their damnedest to make sure it don't happen. Like Gucci Mane and his wife is like a what's that song? Rags to Riches, but from a mental health aspect, not money. Like, for real. Like, man, we went from this out of there to sustainable. That's huge.
Yep. Shout out to Blue.
Well. That's our episode for today, man. We hope y'all enjoyed this. We hope y'all took some knowledge from this. We hope y'all took some reflection on this and looked at yourselves. And as Michael said, took a look in the mirror, and you want to change the world, you got to change yourself. So please reflect and please look at yourself and see what you can change and what you can do differently, or look at somebody and see how you can help them be better in this world. Because, like we said in the topics, everybody needs a village. Everybody needs some self-reflection. And that can help us be something different. Also, once again, you can follow us, reach out to us on all our social medias. You can follow us on YouTube. You can follow us on Spotify. You can follow us on Pandora. You can follow us on Apple Podcasts. Also, you can hit us up on Instagram. And you can always send us that fan mail on Instagram also. You can send us comments on all the podcasts too. We'll look at those and try to reach out to y'all that way. Plus, you can also reach out to us on our email, which is gemstonespodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that's gemstonespodcast@gmail.com. This is the end to another good episode. We love y'all.
Love y'all. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for tuning in. Check us out. Bye.